Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to Beer Geek Nation. Thank you for joining me once again for another beer review. And today, guys, we are looking at probably one of the most macro-centric beers that I've ever done. This is from Guinness. This is their Foreign Extra Stout, coming in at 7.5% alcohol by volume. This is basically the version of Guinness that the rest of the world gets, except for the US. Well, we get this now. They started shipping it here about a year or two ago. We get, usually it's like a 4.5%, I think is our version. So I'm curious to see, they hop it up, they add a lot more malt to it, a lot more roasted barley to it to basically preserve it to be able to ship to the rest of the world. So I'm curious about this one. I've never had it. So let me get into the glass so you guys know what it smells, tastes, and give you the verdict on the Guinness Foreign Extra Stout. All right, guys, so the appearance of the Guinness Foreign Extra Stout. Well, it pours like a traditional kind of stout or porter, verging more on like a brown ale. There were some brown hues in it, a little brown on the where the light hits the curves of the glass. Can't see anything through it though, so it is hazy. There was a nice half a finger, quarter finger of an off-white kind of brownish head on there, kind of like a cappuccino. Tight white bubbles in the middle, decent amount of head lacing, a little bit of alcohol legs on there, nice carbonation coming. It just looks like a kind of underwhelming stout, I guess. All right, the aroma on the Guinness Foreign Extra. Yeah, it's weird. 7.5% stout, I would expect coffee and chocolate. I'm not getting that at all. Very, very slight coffee, very, very, very slight dark chocolate. I'm getting this weird milky, buttery kind of aroma, like a diacetyl kind of smell to it, a little bit of butterscotch. A little bit of like a roasted quality, a little bit of like a roasted grain in there, graininess. There's like a weird kind of funky dark fruit aroma. A little bit of alcohol, a little bit of sweetness. It's a really plain smelling beer with some weird afternotes. It's kind of strange. All right, the taste on the Guinness Foreign Extra. Cheers. It kind of lives up to the aroma. Right at the front of the tongue, there's a strange bitterness. I would expect a dark chocolate or a coffee espresso type of bitterness. It's a weird dark fruit kind of raisin bitterness. Followed almost immediately by this weird, it's milky, kind of buttery, kind of flavors in the mouth. There's a slight roasted quality. At 7.5%, I'd hope there'd be a little bit of mouthfeel, but it's very, very light, almost non-existent. Aftertaste, it's a really dry finish. Again, for 7.5%, you would expect a little bit of sweetness. It's really dry. Aftertaste is more of like a slight roasted grain, a slight kind of coffee or chocolate, but then that like weird, milky, buttery kind of taste kind of takes over. Very little mouthfeel. It reminds me of like an adjunct lager mixed with like a really crappy stout. It's just weird, and I think it's off, and I'd be curious to know how old this bottle is, in fairness, so I don't know. All right, guys, so the final verdict on the Guinness Foreign Extra, I gotta tell you, it's verging on a D+, C-, somewhere in that range. Just not very pleasant, and for $2 to $3 a bottle, I would never buy it again. If you've never had it, I guess it's worth trying. I'd like to try it fresh. No mouthfeel whatsoever. It's watery. It just, you know, it doesn't stick around. It's super dry, and I guess it's easy to drink. But do you want a 7.5% like almost imperial stout? You don't want that to be easy to drink. You know, you want it to be something that's something you want to sip and kind of enjoy, and this just isn't that beer. So with that said, guys, it's gonna get like a D+, C- from me. Let me know, have you had this fresh and it's been, you know, great? Because apparently some people say it is. So with that said, remember folks, life is too short. Drink amazing beers. Cheers.